Hi, this is Jim with glitterandstonetemplates.com. Just wanted to do a quick video on how to work with fonts from digital art solutions, as well as font created by someone else. Within StoneCut, what you're going to do is you're going to put your text tool, which is the T on the left-hand toolbar. Go ahead and put that on your workspace, and you're going to select your font. All the DAS fonts are prefixed with DAS or DASR. For the purposes of this example, we'll be using DASR block double small. So you're going to select your font. You can type in, well, for this instance, we'll just use example. And then hit your pick tool. Now you're going to see your font displayed here. However, this is not going to be the correct size. We'll do, for the purposes of this video, we'll make them an SS10. So you want to go to your font size here. First, you want to make sure that it's in inches. So to the right of the font size, it'll say inch, millimeter, whatever. You can change it. Click on that. You're going to click on inch, and then DAS supplies you with a PDF version of their font conversion chart. So we're going to go ahead and find DASR block double small, and up at the top you can see StoneCut Pro inches, Corel Draw points, WinPC. There's some other stuff on there. So for an SS10, 3.2 millimeter block double small is 1.39. However, this is one of the more confusing points with DASR, or the StoneCut software, is they don't use dots anywhere. So when you change this size, you're going to use a comma instead of a dot. So 1,39, and hit your enter key, and that went ahead and changed it for you. And then what you're going to want to do, you can double check that the stones are the right size and things of that nature by right clicking. You're going to go text to curves, right click again, go break combination, and then all these dots will be separated. Now, one thing you'll notice, especially with Rhinestone TTF fonts, is because they're not coming from like an EPS or something that actually stores the drawing data, when it gets converted to a font, see how the circles are not quite round? None of them really are very round. They're oblong. That's going to create a problem for you when you're cutting. So you first want to make sure that you're right around the size where you want to be. So with an SS10, we want to be around 3.2 to 3.3, or whatever you normally cut your SS10 stones at. So we're going to just click on one stone. Right now it's showing inches, so 0.127 inches. I know that's right around 3.2 millimeters, but we're going to go ahead and change that. So go over to the left-hand part of your workspace, and you'll see where it says inches or millimeters or whatever you have the size at. You're going to click on that. We're going to change it over to millimeters. And now when you click on a stone, you will see that it's 3.23 millimeters, which is pretty close to where we want to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the entire word that we just created, go to Plugins, Object Replacer, and you will see Replace with Circle. It will also allow you to change the color, so you can change the color to whatever you want. Let's just do Peridot, and we're going to go 3.2 millimeters. So just click OK. Now you'll notice when you look at the circles here that they are complete perfect circles, and they're ready to cut, basically. So what we want to do is you can select all of these. You're going to want to go over to your right-hand menu, the sidebar, and you're going to click Macros. Well, I'm already in here. So when you click Macros, you should come to a screen like this. You want to go to Convert Rhinestone Set Overcut. So we're going to click that. You want to make sure your Set Overcut box is checked, because what that's going to do is when the cutter goes around, it's going to make a complete circle, but it's going to go a little bit past the point where it first cut. So it's going to make those little circles pop out of the flock a lot easier. And then depending on what kind of cutter you have, you might need to increase the number of outputs. If you want it to cut around each circle once, it's a 1. You want it to double cut, You just change it to 2, and then you're going to go ahead and click execute. So then all these are changed to rhinestones. You can then right click, put a weed border, and you're ready to cut. Okay. Another thing to think about is if you're doing a 2-color font, do your 2 colors, get the font lined up the way you want it, set your overcuts, put the weed box around. For the purposes of this example, just to make it quicker, I'm just going to change a couple of the stones in here. But what we're going to do is I'm going to put some guidelines up. So I'm going to go ahead and change my workspace back to inches. Just grab my top ruler and I'm going to drag it down. And right now it looks like we're at about 18 3/4 inches as far as the workspace goes. This will change. So you just want to go ahead and make that like 17 3/4 inches, right around there. And then you're going to go from the left and you're going to make it an inch. This will make it easier when working with the DAS frames that they supplied. You don't necessarily need to do this if you're doing like the bookend method or anything like that, where you just have these down on the table and you're pulling it back enough and then doing your second color and putting it back down. But if you're using the frames, this is a step that you need to take. So then we'll drag the completed design. It will snap to the guidelines. Then we're going to break it apart, select just the outline portion. If you skip this step, you're going to skew your holes. So make sure you select off of the design, select just your outline portion, and you're going to drag up to the top of the page. That leaves a 1-inch margin on the top. You're going to drag to the left of the page, and that's going to do a 1-inch margin to the left. And now basically you're prepped for a 2-color design. So if this was a 2-color design, which we'll go ahead and make it one right now, we'll just take a couple of these stones, go ahead and change them to a different color. You can select the stones just by holding Shift like you would in Corel Draw and just clicking the stones that you want to select. We'll go over to Layer, make these, we'll say crystal. And now what you want to do in order to make this cuttable, you already converted everything to rhinestones. So you've only changed the color, or I've only changed the color. If you're doing a 2-color font, you will have already converted these to rhinestones as well. So you're going to click first on one of your peridot stones. You're going to hit this select button up here because you'll see that it already selected peridot. You're going to hit select. It selected all your peridot stones. Hold down the Shift key. Click your weed border. Drag off. Hit your right mouse key and then release the left one. And you see how it only grabbed just the peridot stones? And then you're going to do the same thing on your opposite color. Select one of those stones. Turns out to be crystal AB. Select. Hold your Shift key. Click your weed box. And then all you're going to do is drag off. Oh, I missed a stone there. So we'll have to start this over. Go to your secondary color, hit select, hold your Shift key, grab your weed border, drag off, right click, and then depress. So now when you go to make this a 2-color design, you have a perfect stone registration. It'll work really easy with the frames. You want to make sure that you leave this area. One thing that I do on the secondary colors, since these are separated already, is I will bring this up. That's only if you're using the frames. If you're going to use the bookend method, you want to make sure that you leave the whole thing so that you can line things up properly. And don't even leave this margin. You really don't need it if you're using that method. Now, if you want to use somebody else's font, we can do that by just popping over into Corel here. We'll use one of mine, for instance. So you're going to do the same thing. Go to your text tool, and we'll do this GST Shaky Heart. It's a free font that I put up. It should still be up in the marketplace right now. So if you'd like, go ahead and grab it. We can just type example like normal. Oh, whoops. Like we did before. And you'll see that we have example there, and these are not the right size yet. So what I do is in my proof sheets, you'll see what the point size should be. Some people do it this way. Some people add it to the font name. But you'll see to make SS10 stones, it's going to end up being right around 1.2 inches tall, and it needs to be 175 point in Corel. So we'll just pop right back over to Corel, change this to 175, and hit enter. And that's going to be right around your sizing for SS10 stones. So you can also see with mine, the font conversion process really plays havoc on these circles. So they're not quite as round as you want them to be. So what we're going to do, and you need to do this in Corel first, we're going to convert it to curves, just because StoneCut likes those better. And then you can Control-C to copy, or you can go up to edit and copy, or you can right-click and copy. But once it copies, then we're going to pop up StoneCut Pro, and then right-click, paste, and then you can click to put it anywhere. Now we know these are already about the size that we need them, so we can click on a stone to double check. First, you're going to have to ungroup because you brought it over from Corel, and break combination. So right now you see they're 1.27 inches. We'll change that over to millimeters, 3.22 millimeters. So we're real close. Go ahead and select the whole word. Go up to plugins, object replacer. We're going to replace 3.2 millimeter. We'll just pick cyan. Replace circle 3.2 millimeter. If you were doing like SS6 stones, it'd be 2.4 millimeter or 2.5 millimeter, and just go ahead and click OK. Now when you look at the stones, they are perfectly round and ready to cut. So again, what we're going to do is highlight the entire word. We're going to go over to the macros tab, convert to Rhinestone set overcut. Make sure the set overcut box is ticked. Hit execute. OK. Right click. Put a weed border. And you're ready to cut. So thanks a lot for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And have a great day.